Alright, welcome back, you guys, to another Madden 23 Lions franchise episode. This week, we are playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is going to be a really interesting game coming off our W versus the Falcons last week, where we narrowly got the victory. We are now 4-2. We lead our division by, I think it's half a game, technically, if the Bears are 3-3, or I guess it's one game. But we have somebody that won a weekly award, and it is Surtain for his performance against the Falcons. He had 2 picks, a fumble recovery, and a touchdown, along with 7 tackles. Keaton also getting Offensive Player of the Week in the NFC with 5 passing touchdowns. Pretty crazy performance. Now, we have a breakout linebacker scenario. I don't know who this is for necessarily. I'm curious to see, and it's for Baron Browning. Okay, so Baron Browning has the breakout scenario. We have already messed up his breakout scenario in the past when we needed to get like 1 sack with him or 1 tackle for loss, and we just couldn't do it, and we couldn't hold the opposing offense to like under 200 yards. So we need to hold him to under 250, and we need to get him, or we need to get him 1 interception, a forced fumble, a tackle for loss, or a sack, which should be doable. Again, we're playing the Jaguars. The Jaguars do have Trevor Lawrence on the team. We're going to go through their roster real quick. All right, so the Jaguars, like I said, they have Trevor Lawrence at QB. They have Tony Pollard at halfback along with Jamal Williams. They have CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Sterling Shepard, and Tyron Torrance. Now, if you guys don't remember, Tyron Torrance is the wide receiver I really wanted to take in the draft. 5'8", 21 years old, is a rookie. And he has 99 speed, 95 excel. He's got good catching stats. His route running is okay. His agility is very high. His carrying is good. He was somebody that I was going to put in that Brian Jackson role. The only thing is Tyron Torrance is a little bit smaller. He's 5'8", and Brian Jackson is 6 feet tall. And Brian Jackson is a little bit slower than Tyron Torrance. But actually, I kind of am liking Brian Jackson where he's at right now. The thing about Tyron Torrance right now, though, is that he only has 3 catches for 45 yards in the season, which is insane when he was their first-round selection. He is playing behind Sterling Shepard, barely gets any PT. So their main receivers are CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, and then Zach Ertz is pretty high. Or actually, it's Adam Troutman is pretty high up there. Their O-line is pretty solid all around. Their D-line is pretty good. They got DJ Reader. They got Shaquille Barrett, who's starting to age a little bit. Only a 77 overall, but they do have Oscar Vick, who they drafted in the previous season as a top 7 player out of UW. But right now, yeah, he's currently the backup for Shaquille Barrett, so I'm not even sure how much playing time he is getting. So a lot of their young players are sitting behind other players on the roster, along with Von Melton, another linebacker out of UW, who is 23 years old, 78 overall right now, but he is also sitting behind TJ Edwards. So they got a bunch of young players that are not really getting a lot of playing time, although Harold Landry is out with an injury, so we may see some of those UW linebackers come in. AJ Terrell, and then Ronald Darby, and Michael Ojemudia, I hope that's how you say his name, Lewis Seen at free safety, and Cameron Curl at strong safety. Playing in Jacksonville, the only stadium I think that has a pool. I'm pretty sure the Buccaneers don't have a pool. I think it's Jacksonville that has a pool. Anyways, this is a huge game. If we win this game, we're going to end up being 5-2. If we lose, we're going to be 4-3. We also have changed Jake Zimmer's X Factor from being dots, which, again, doesn't really work. If you have perfect accuracy, you're probably not supposed to throw a ball right at the safety. I was having a lot of issues in Superstar X Factor with Jake Zimmer throwing inaccurate passes. And so instead, we have switched it to Truz. So he's not going to fumble if he gets into X Factor as long as he's rushing and he has his X Factor active. So that'll be interesting to see if we can get that activated in this game. But again, the strength of this team for the Jaguars is their offense. They have a bunch of elite weapons. Again, not really using Tyron Torrance much at all, but they have a bunch of young players that they've drafted high in the first round that are not getting a lot of PT on defense or offense. But they do have a bright future ahead. Brian Jackson on the kick return, taking it out. You got Calvin Austin as a blocker, taking it up to the 25. Jake Zimmer coming on the field for his first drive, and he had a great performance against the Falcons that led us to victory. And we're going to see if we can duplicate that against the Jaguars. First play of the game, we're going to go ahead and run Hebert out of Jumbo. Getting good blocks, getting to the left side, picking up 3 yards. And Hebert in the last game had 12 carries for 81 yards. He started getting back on track from where he was last season. Last season he, was averaging nearly 5-6 yards per carry. This season he has had a much harder time, but trying to make something happen here, and we end up taking the sack, trying to just get it over to Juwan Johnson. Instead, Oscar Vick, the young first-round pick out of UW, sacks Jake Zimmer, and so he is getting some playing time, it looks like. On 3rd and 23, we're going to trust Jake Zimmer here to take a shot. Only thing is I don't know if I want Brian Jackson blocking. I'm going to send him. See, Jamison getting downfield. He fumbles, though, after getting the first down. Antoine Andrews is trying to get there, and eventually he is taken down at the 17-yard line. On that play, it looks like Antoine Andrews has an abdominal tear now, and he may be out for a certain amount of time that is yet to be determined. Probably going to be out for multiple weeks like they usually are. So that is a big blow. Finally getting him into the lineup, and now he's going to be out for, a substantial amount of the season. And Nathan Walls is out for this game with a low back strain, it sounds like. So we're going to be without our starting kind of like nickel defender. Pollard in the backfield. We're watching the curl flat combos, but underneath, Pollard gets it. Simmons is there for the tackle, but they do pick up the first down from the 3-yard line. And again, not a great start to the game. We've had some issues with slow starts, and this one ultimately came from, the fumble from Jamison after picking up that first down, but doing a toss to the outside, and we're trying to get there. Jamal Williams able to break off the tackle from Simmons, but ends up losing 6 yards on the play. A dangerous decision to go for a toss play, an outside run with Jamal Williams, who was not the fastest running back. You'd think you'd want to run something like that with Tony Pollard. 2nd and goal now from the 9. We're watching over the middle. We're watching, finally scoring the touchdown, though, is Brandon Cooks. Now in single back, trips. We got Quentin Posey underneath, able to hold on to it and pick up the first down. On 1st and 10, we're going to do a little QB designed run, a little QB power over to the left. See if we can get Truz activated potentially. Getting the edge block from Cooper Kupp, and we pick up the first down. Getting it up for 12 yards. We're going to do a little no huddle here. And we're going to try to get Cooper Kupp in motion. Cooper Kupp has been getting a lot more targets the last couple of games. Of course, that is part of the game plan, trying to make sure that he stays involved, and he's wide open underneath. Going to let him run with the ball. After the catch, taking it almost for another first down. It's going to be 2nd and 1. Now 2nd and 1. We could have Cooper come in on the jet sweep. Instead, we're going to run it with Hebert. Should be an easy first down conversion. Instead, it's a read option, and Jake Zimmer keeps it. And I honestly thought that was just a regular run play. I did not notice it was a read option, so that is my fault. We're going to run the same play. This time we're just going to hand it off to Hebert no matter what, who does pick up the first down. And Brian Jackson not really getting any touches so far, but we will continue to work on that. Running this play again here. We're going to go ahead and look for Posey. Actually, Calvin Austin. And he is open over the top. Able to hold on to it, get down to the 16-yard line. And we're going to see Calvin Austin playing a lot more, again, because Antoine Andrews is going to be out for a significant amount of time. Now Brian Jackson coming in. And Brian Jackson could definitely fill that role as well. But, again, he is one of those players that is doing a lot of different things on the field for us. Going to send Jamison on a go, and Brian Jackson might be open. Kind of a force there. Able to hold on to it, though, and pick up the first down to the 5. Great job securing that catch. Had to throw it right over the edge. And now 1st and goal. We got Brian Jackson in the backfield again. And here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to get Brian Jackson out to the side. I don't think we can. Actually, we can. Okay. We're going to have to come out. We're going to have him on a drag. And Brian Jackson's just going to beat his man badly in man coverage. TJ Edwards had no chance of staying in front of him. And we scored the easy touchdown to take a 7-7 tie. And he is just a mismatch out of the backfield. That's what I love most about him. There's not many running backs that have that speed. Some of the few that do are, players like Kenneth Walker right now. I'm trying to think of another one that is as fast as Brian Jackson. There's really not a whole lot. On the kick return is the Jaguars, and you'd think that Tyron Torrance would be on a kick return like this if he's not getting playing time, but it doesn't look like he is. Instead, it is taken down at the 25. Now we're in base 3-4 coverage here. So we got Sean Hazelwood on the edge again. He's been having a lot of success in recent games. Going to run it here with Pollard. And we're gang tackling. And again, the goal for us in this game is to get Baron Browning, though, a sack or a tackle for loss, or to hold their offense under 250 yards. That is the end goal. When they, they only have 17 yards so far. They have that one touchdown. Trevor Lawrence scrambling. You got to get someone there, and Tariq is trying to go for the strip. Sean Hazelwood there to finally get the tackle. Trevor takes it for 21 yards. Again, their first touchdown, they got it off of the fumble, so they may have 7 points, but they only have about 40 or 50 yards so far, and we want to keep it that way as much as possible. And ultimately, as long as we get Baron Browning a development upgrade, that is huge. Running it up the middle is Pollard. Isaiah Simmons is there, and he's finally tackled down by Baron Browning. 2nd and 6 now out of single back, and Baron Browning gets to the edge, but Tony Pollard takes it up the middle and picks up the first down. And Tony Pollard is one of those running backs that is just a game changer, a game wrecker in some ways, has the speed, but also has the elusiveness, is a huge part of the Dallas Cowboys offense. Right here, taking it out of the backfield, finally getting the tackle is Sean Hazelwood, who is on man coverage against him. Sean Hazelwood continuing to start to make more and more plays for us. Really did not see a lot of action to start the season, and we're getting good. Oh, man, Damon Clark almost getting there. Simmons finally making the tackle. Trevor Lawrence still 4 for 4 for 46 yards. Getting a lot of time in the pocket. That's the problem. We need to get better pressure. We're going to bring Sean Hazelwood off the edge here. It's going to be a little bit risky in single back here with Tony Pollard. They could be running it again, have someone over in motion. It's a jet sweep. Sean Hazelwood misses it. Surtain misses it. Finally, we get the tackle. It's going to be 2nd and 2. Brandon Cooks takes it for 8 yards. And again, we said before we were going to play cover 2 in this situation, and we are. They're going to run it here with Tony Pollard. Pollard taken down by Dontrell Parker. It's going to be 3rd and 1. 3rd and 1. They're in single back again here. Now we're in man again. I don't love it. We got to watch these slant routes, and we got to watch Trevor Lawrence scrambling, who dives into the end zone for the touchdown. 1st and 10 now out of the pistol. And a lot of the times we like to start the pistol off with a read option. Instead, we're going to go ahead and just do a halfback dive. Hebert taking it up to the 26. Struggling to get going so far. Going to go out of the pistol again here. We're going to do a fake jet sweep, see if that kind of fools the defense a little bit. Try to continue to get Hebert involved in the run game. Looks like it's zone defense, and Hebert this time takes it for a big chunk. We're going to go ahead and do an RPO. I like it. Cooper picking up yardage, almost getting the first down. It's going to be 2nd and 2. Again, just taking short yardage situation passes so far. Now we're doing the read option with Hebert, and I could have swore they bid on it, but they still got the tackle on Zimmer for the loss. It's going to be 3rd and 6 now. All right, on 3rd and 6. Got Posey one-on-one down the seam, able to hold on to it. Our safety blanket. Able to beat Cameron Curl on the play. And go do a little no-huddle read option here. See if they bite on it. Some good blocks. Jake Zimmer not going to take contact. Going to slide down for a 7-yard gain. Not showing as much pressure now, and we're going to go ahead and try to run it. 2nd and 3. Cooper has got a one-on-one and fumbles it. Luckily, Jake Zimmer is there to pick it up. That's what I was worried about, running it with Cooper Kupp. And, I really don't think Cooper would be fumbling that. But 3rd and 6 now. And they don't have a lot of people over the center here. We might just end up running it with Hebert on 3rd and 6. Almost able to pick up the first down. Finally getting gang tackle at 37. It's going to be 4th and 2. We're going to no-huddle it. Going into an empty set here. I would like to have Brian Jackson out here instead of Hebert in a situation like this, but I'm going to see what happens. Calvin Austin left wide open in the flat. Easy first down pickup. We got a minute left now. They got a bunch of linebackers over the middle, though. I was considering doing a QB draw, but instead we're going to go ahead and just pass it. Jamison down the seam. Picking up yards. He already fumbled one time. Down to the 5, though. Able to hold on to it this time. Going to speed up a little bit here. We're running out a little bit of time. Going to QB draw it here. Got good blocks. Going to get into the end zone down at the 1-yard line. And we don't need to speed up at all. We just want to use a little bit of clock. It's been traditionally pretty risky to go for a counter on the goal line, and we are actually going to move out of this and go into a regular run play. 20 seconds left. I know I am burning time. Oh, and they break through the line. We're going to call a timeout. And what we're going to do is we're going to sub Brian Jackson in on this play on a halfback angle, and he should be able to beat his man one-on-one, and he does. His second receiving touchdown of the game. Again, a complete mismatch on TJ Edwards. And the team celebrates with Brian Jackson, and he's got both of our TDs in this game. Now we're tied before the end of the first half. All right, starting the second half, the Jaguars do receive, and again, I don't understand why Tyron Torrance would not be on returns here. It looks like he actually is, but he is not the main return man. He's the secondary return man. Trevor Lawrence already having a very solid performance with one rushing touchdown and throwing mostly just completions, one passing touchdown as well. Throwing slants again here. We're watching the underneath. Able to get the completion to Pollard. 2nd and 5 now. Trevor Lawrence still 5 for 5 in the game, and we need to get Baron Browning something here, or continue to keep them for short yard situations. Throwing it over the top, beating Ronnie Harrison, and CeeDee Lamb with a grab up to the 48. This is harder because we're missing Nathan Walls, but I gotta see Baron Browning make a play here to get himself star development. It is so crucial. He's still such a young player. Watching underneath again, they're throwing it, and there's another flag, and hopefully this is for holding. And it is. Okay, so it's going to set them back a little bit. And that is good for us. Now in 3-4 again, and we're going to send Sean Hazelwood this time, bring a little pressure off the right side. Watching the one-on-one. Tony Pollard on the run play. Hazelwood with another tackle, but it looked like it might be a face mask. It's another offensive hold, and we're going to go ahead and accept. That pushes them back even further. Now back at their own 36. We can just kind of tee off and sit back in coverage a little bit. I would like to send Baron Browning on a blitz next play. We're watching over the middle, and Baron Browning almost there, able to force the incompletion. 2nd and 26. I was hoping he could get a chance to get an interception, but instead, 2nd and 26, and we're going to send Baron Browning into some pressure now on the left side. See if he can get something going. Instead, it's a halfback screen. They keep evading our blitzes with halfback screens or just straight up run plays or throwing it to the flat. Baron Browning now rushing off the edge. Got Pat Hopkins out here one-on-one, and they're able to pick up the first down. There is a fumble, though, and Sean Hazelwood falls on it. A big play there. And unfortunately, it was not Baron Browning that made the play, but still a huge hit by Surtain. Surtain coming up and starting to actually crack some skulls. Getting a lot of big hits. He used to be more of a finesse corner, but now he is really helping out a lot after the catch and sometimes even in run support on the running back. In pistol here. I like Jamison down the side, but instead a really inaccurate ball from Jake Zimmer. 2nd and 10 now. Try a little halfback screen with Hebert. I don't think they're going to expect it. And he do have a great play here. Not able to pick up the first down. I was hoping that we would block towards the outside. TJ Edwards with the injury. Kind of don't like that because we had a huge mismatch with TJ Edwards against our running backs because TJ Edwards is so much slower. Instead, their backup linebacker is very fast out of UW. And so that actually is going to help them a little bit, I think, in terms of just matching up better against us a little bit. Calvin Austin's got a one-on-one. We kind of just toss it up, and an inaccurate ball. Calvin Austin eventually won that matchup against AJ Terrell going down the field, but took him way too long. 2nd and 10 now, and we're going to do a little orbit RPO. See if it's open or not. And it looks like it is. We got good blocks from Jamison. Calvin Austin taking it downfield. Doing a great job in relief for Antoine Andrews, picking up that first down. 1st and 10 from the 37. Little play action. Got Jameson streaking downfield one-on-one. He's got the mismatch down to the 8-yard line and just burning AJ Terrell from side to side there. I mean, to be fair, not a lot of people can keep up with Jameson. And we got not a lot of linebackers over our offensive line. We're going to go ahead and run it with Brian Jackson. And we've got another hole. And Brian Jackson, his 3rd touchdown of the game. And I swear, I'm not even trying to actively get him these touchdowns. He is just in the exact perfect position to score them. 2 receiving touchdowns now in the red zone, and then 1 rushing touchdown. And he is just a touchdown machine. And, I would love Hebert to score there. I would love for Jamison to score or Posey to score, but Brian Jackson just has a nose for the end zone. Getting so many touchdowns for us, whether it's rushing or receiving or in the kick return game as well already. But taking a 21-14 lead here with 4 minutes left in the third quarter, we're going to see how the Jaguars can respond, getting stopped in their last drive. They're going to start out the 22-yard line, and Trevor Lawrence is going to have to come out here and figure out what to do. And again, what I would say to do is to play Tyron Torrance, who again is not on the field. Instead, Brandon Cooks is out wide by himself. Zach Ertz is on the field as well, so is CeeDee Lamb. We're playing just man coverage here. Brandon Cooks able to get the completion and hold on to it versus Surtain in one-on-one coverage. All right, 1st and 10 coming out in cover 3. They got Tony Pollard in the backfield in the gun, and I'm hoping that Baron Browning can make something happen. Instead, they're doing another halfback screen for Pollard. I mean, it makes sense that they would be doing a lot of halfback screens. They do it for Travis Etienne. They get Etienne involved in a lot of ways receiving the ball, and another halfback screen for Pollard. And again, it is blown up. Now it is 3rd and 10, and it's almost like they don't want Trevor Lawrence to be throwing it down the field, and we are just destroying them, even though it's cover 3 on these plays here. Trevor Lawrence getting hit as he falls down, and they might call it intentional grounding. Didn't look like he was going to anybody in particular. Oh, it's roughing the passer instead. We almost got the sack, but Trey Hendrickson getting roughing the passer and bailing them out on this drive, making it 1st and 10 from the 47. Wow, what an absolutely terrible turn of events. Single coverage here and able to break like 4 tackles, taking it down to the 41-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 41. Another throw underneath the Cooks this time, and we get the hit. It's going to make it 2nd and 4. And they're just throwing a lot of really short yardage passes. We're going to watch out for the halfback screen again here and single back. Continuing to try to find ways to get Pollard involved. And another throw, this time a slant to CeeDee Lamb, who's able to hold on to it despite having multiple defenders in his face. Trevor Lawrence still 12 of 16, no interceptions thrown. Watching for these short little drags. And one-on-one, Tariq able to force the incompletion on CeeDee Lamb. Doing a great job in coverage there on like a comeback route. Still in the gun. Now we're going to go into cover 3 again. Watching everything over the middle, but we couldn't watch that. Able to pick up the 1st down. That was Zach Ertz. 1st and 10 from the 15, and we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to run a little cover 2. They've been throwing a lot of short yardage. Just don't want to get burned over the top. But at this point, now that we're in the red zone, I'm not too worried about it. Running it with Pollard, and a huge hit by Isaiah Simmons. 2nd and 8 now, again in cover 2. We're going to keep showing it. They're moving out of it a little bit. They're looking like they're trying to beat cover 2 potentially. If they have a corner route on the right side, that could beat it. Dontrell is who I'm stuck on. We're trying to go ahead and get pressure. Getting the tackle is Tariq. A huge hit. 3rd and 1 now, very short yard situation. We're going to show a blitz, and we are going to blitz here with Damon Clark. Pat Hopkins one-on-one here. We're watching these slants. Trevor Lawrence trying to run, instead falls down, making it 4th and 7. And Sean Hazelwood is credited with the sack. Looked like Trevor Lawrence was trying to do what he did earlier in the game for their 2nd drive, just rushing out to the side and getting a dive into the end zone for the TD. Instead, falls down. He trips over his own O-line, and we are the beneficiaries. Up by 4 points in Jacksonville to start the 4th quarter, and we have a great chance here to put them away, or at least make it a complete one-possession game. Brian Jackson on the return, taking it up to the 25. Nothing special so far. 1st and 10 now with Hebert in the backfield in strong. Got Juszczyk as our lead blocker. Running it upfield and able to pick up a couple yards. Hebert still continuing to struggle in this game. Getting yards after contact. Got Cooper at the one-on-one instead. I like Posey over the top. Able to hold on to it, fight a defender off, and take it for extra yards up to the 43. 1st and 10 from the 43. We got Hebert and Jackson in the backfield. Or we're doing the read option here. Hebert keeping it. Not doing a great job finding his running lane and losing a yard on the play. 2nd and 11 in single back. Trips. And we got Posey underneath wide open. Able to fight for extra yards and pick up that 1st down. Always getting yards after contact on catches. Gonna do a little pitch out to the side and immediately getting to him. Oscar Vick with the tackle. Absolutely blowing that run play up. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and do a pitch fake reverse. Getting upfield, Jameson's got a one-on-one and gets some yards, making it 3rd and 9, picking up 7 yards on, trying to get a little creative, making it 3rd and 9 now, and they're showing a lot of pressure over the middle. Posey's got a one-on-one down the seam, wide open, uncovered. And Jake Zimmerich, 17 for 19, has not had a lot of issues finding an open receiver in this game at all. Another RPO here, and we're just going to hand it off to Hebert, who's able to fight for extra yards, getting us down to 2nd and 4 at the 17-yard line. And we're not in the mode right now where we're completely burning clock. We're not by that much, but we're just kind of getting chunk yards. And great blocks here. Hebert almost taking it down to the end zone, down to the 5. And despite the fact that he has not had a lot of success, we have not gone away from the ground game. Continue to let him kind of fight through this kind of struggle here. And I was thinking about throwing it to Cooper Kupp on the zig route, but he was covered pretty well. Instead, we took the sack. We're down at the 6-yard line. Now, if we really want to score a touchdown, what should we be doing? Probably should have Brian Jackson somewhere on the field. It's been just electric in the red zone. Got him out wide now. And we're going to send Brian Jackson on the slant and Quentin Posey on the go. Posey in the back of the end zone holds onto it for the touchdown. And I think they were just so focused on Brian Jackson being out there in single coverage that they did not play over the middle nearly as much. And Posey was there down the seam for the touchdown. They could not cover him. Able to just tap his toes in the back of the end zone and hold on to it. He's got great hands. And now we're up by 2 scores, so we got to see what the Jaguars are going to do here. Browning still, I think, is in the clear to get a development upgrade with the amount of yards they have right now. But if we were to get a tackle for loss or a sack or a forced fumble or an interception, we would definitely secure that star development. Now 2nd and 6 in single back here. Pollard on the run, and we had a couple people there to get that tackle for loss, but I think that was credited to potentially Brandon Williams. It's hard to tell. Baron Browning in zone coverage again here. 3rd and 8. Another run by Pollard. Pollard picking up the first down. Damn. And that's going to be the 2-minute warning. Baron Browning is in man coverage on Tony Pollard. We're going to see what we can do in single back. Tony Pollard is blocking. We're watching over the top. Simmons does not get there, and they get some yards, making it 2nd and 3. This time we're bringing a blitz off the edge with Isaiah Simmons. And they're throwing it, and Surtain gets beat and goes for the pick, which is a bad play because now they're down in our red zone, down the 7-yard line. And they're going no huddle. And we're going to drop into... Oh, we don't have enough time. This is not good. We got a one-on-one, and Hopkins, instead of getting the easy interception and potentially a pick 6, just taps the ball away. Makes absolutely no sense why he would do that. Dropping back into cover 2 here. This is the ideal coverage, except when Surtain does not drop back, and they get in the back right corner of the end zone on the slant. Brandon Cooks was just eventually left wide open. We got no pressure on Trevor Lawrence on that play. Again, we've struggled to get pressure, not getting a lot of sacks so far this season. Hopkins dropping back into coverage and left wide open for the 2-point conversion, making it a 3-point game with a minute left. They have all 3 timeouts, and they're definitely going to go for an onside here. We've got to get this onside, and we've got to pick up some first downs. Jamison on the hands team, able to hold on to it, and he's just going to dive down at the 44-yard line. And we only need a couple yards to pick up enough yards to get ourselves into field goal range. And the question is, who do we trust to pick up these yards for us? Hebert has done a lot better the last couple of run plays, and the blocks have been pretty good. Hebert breaking a tackle, getting into field goal range, down to 36. A big run by him. Now 2nd and 2. You know they're bringing pressure on the line. They know this is a run play. 2nd and 2. We're going to run it. And Juszczyk with a good block, almost picking up the first, and the Jags are using their 2nd timeout. They have 1 more left. We got to pick up this first down. They got everybody on the line. We could run it here. We're going to run it. We're going to switch to I form, though, because we already know they're bringing pressure. We got to make sure that we have good blocks. Hebert able to get the first down, and that is going to give us the W. We can just kneel it out at this point. All right, we take the knee with Jake Zimmer, and it's going to hurt his rushing averages, but we don't really care. Going to do one more, and that'll be the game. A great game from this offense. The defense didn't do as much as I would like them to have. I'd love to have seen more turnovers forced against this Jags team. I was impressed with how Tariq Woolen played in coverage. Surtain could have played better, but I'm hoping that we kept him under 250 yards. Otherwise, it would be a huge bummer to not get Baron Browning up to star development a second time. It's just so hard for whatever reason to get him there. He's just not making plays on his own. Like, sometimes he is just so hit or miss. Sometimes he gets 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles in a game, and sometimes he does nothing on the field. He is leading our team in tackles, though, so you'd think that he could get there. I'm hoping that he was credited with a tackle for loss on one of the running plays. We'll see. Trevor Lawrence clearly upset with the outcome. Playing at home, that was a big game for them. They had an even record at that point. They were 3-3. Jake Zimmer playing outstanding. 3 TDs, no picks. He has played flawlessly, almost flawlessly in the last 2 games. Really turning it around. Again, he was 1-for-1 touchdown to interception ratio, but he has come back and played a lot better these last 2 games. I think it's 7 TDs to only 1 pick, which is exactly the kind of ratio I like to see. Trevor Lawrence, 18 for 24, 2 TDs and 0 picks. Hebert, 15 carries for 46 yards. We did not, run away or move away from the running game, I should say. We continue to feed him the ball, and he started to get better returns. Over time, he was starting to get way more yards after contact. We wore down the defense a little bit, and he was able to make some plays in the second half of the game. The first half, he really struggled. Brian Jackson only getting 2 carries for 7 yards, but he did end up scoring a touchdown, of course, poaching a touchdown from Hebert in the red zone. Jake Zimmer having 7 carries for 18 yards. Posey with 82 receiving yards, leading the way, 1 touchdown. Jameson with 73 receiving yards. Calvin Austin with 49, and Cooper only 2 catches for 17 yards. A very quiet game for him. Something that we want to make sure that does not happen too often to make sure that he is staying happy. Brian Jackson only 3 catches for 22 yards. Again, not putting up the most in terms of yardage. This is definitely not there in terms of yards for him, but 3 touchdowns, 2 TDs receiving in this game off of 3 catches only. And then defensively, leading the team in tackles was Isaiah Simmons and then Christian Harris. Sacks, Sean Hazelwood was credited with the sack when Trevor Lawrence fell over. And then we had no interceptions, obviously. I don't know why Antoine Andrews is up here for interceptions. We had 1 forced fumble from Surtain, and then a pass deflection from Baron Browning. And did Baron Browning get a tackle for loss? Let's see. He got 1 tackle for loss, so I think he will get a development upgrade. And so Sean Hazelwood is getting an upgrade after the game, and what to boost? That is the question. What to boost? He has so many things that I need to upgrade him for, but we are going to boost his speed rushing, so hopefully that will upgrade his development over time, because I want to boost up his zone and man coverage, and he does get some upgrades to his zone and man off of that upgrade anyways. Again, a player with a lot of potential, but is still very raw. I think he could develop into a really good player. It's just a matter of time. Jake Zimmer getting another upgrade, having a fantastic performance, 3 TDs and no picks. And we're going to upgrade his strong arm. Hopefully that upgrades his throw deep a little bit. And nope, it upgrades his throw accuracy mid and throw under pressure though. And finally his under pressure is above 80, or it's 80 or higher. And that is nice to see. His deep accuracy is still pretty low at 78. His short and medium are insanely high for a second-year quarterback. 95 short is crazy. And so, we will see. I think he's going to get it. Oh, I thought he had to get 1 tackle for loss. He had a tackle for loss. And I guess we still didn't get it. I thought we got his star development because I thought we only needed 1 tackle for loss, and it showed that he had 1, but I guess he's not going to get it. And Nathan Walls will be back for next game, which is good to see. Antoine Andrews is going to be gone for a substantial amount of time. Again, just a huge bummer because he's so important to this team. It's just tough. He's just not getting a lot of opportunities with kind of the other receivers that are ahead of him, because I know that he makes a lot of plays for us when we need him to. Makes a lot of big contested catches for us. He's got pretty sure hands, and You know, last season he played pretty well in the limited amount of time he played, but he's just been out with injury now, and he's going to miss 4 weeks. It's tough to see. Definitely hurting his development. All right, that is it for this video, you guys. I appreciate you so much for watching and sticking through the whole video. I look forward to our next game against the Cardinals. We're going to be having a rematch from last season against Russell Wilson and the Cards. Thank you so much for watching, and peace, you guys.